Good morning, boys. It's 1:30 in the afternoon, so that's morning to me. I have a nice coffee, so definitely morning. Today, we're going to be giving our overall thoughts on sailing because we are officially about to be done with it. We are 40k XP off of 99. I have accidentally banked about 700 salvage every time that I come back from salvaging. If I just happen to have a full bin, I just kind of leave it there. Um, so we've accidentally banked 99 sailing. 99 sailing is officially banked, boys. Um, but we're going to do the rest of this cleaning while we yap about our overall thoughts. I'm going to take a sip of this because it's just so enticing. Now I'm going to put it down so I can yap for the rest of the video. But if you want the TLDR before we give the full yap on all of the parts of sailing, I do love the skill. I think JAGEX knocked it out of the park with sailing. I do think it came out earlier than we wanted it to come out, and I think it came out earlier than the JMods wanted to come out, or wanted it to come out. It does pretty much seem and feel like they kind of were forced to put it out on a time frame that was not fully complete, whether that's for money reasons or for other reasons, for like wanting the game to get more players around a certain time of the year. I don't know, but it very much does feel like sailing came out unfinished or not polished the way they wanted it to be. There are certain things that were supposed to be in part 1 sailing that were scrapped, like the 4th Barracuda trial, and like some other stuff that they've mentioned. Some other the dual training methods, they decided to only do trawling, things like that. But overall, even with that being said, I love it. I had a lot of fun with sailing. We tried pretty much every part of sailing. Other than the port tasks, they didn't really grab my attention or seem that fun to me. It seemed like a lot of micromanaging that I wasn't really trying to get into. But we did pretty much all of sailing. I'm going to turn down these game sounds just a little bit. We'll get the very quiet, rhythmic salvaging in the back, but not too loud. But yeah, port tasks was the only thing I didn't really delve into. But other than that, we tried a bit of everything, and it was a ton of fun. Off the bat, when it came to sailing launch, day one, first couple of days, it was a lot of exploration, a lot of having the boys in Discord together, doing family charting. That was, like, the most fun I think I've had on RuneScape in a very long time. There was something very MMO feeling about just seeing everyone going around, their boats stuck, like getting attacked by shit, crashing, like all the stuff. It was very MMO. It felt very alive. It felt very together. Especially like when we had a couple of the boys in the Discord were like getting lost while charting. We have Kieran who is like actually solving the mermaid riddles, and then we would just say that he Googled it every time because it would really piss him off. But he was like actually solving them, and it was making us mad, so we were just accusing him of Googling it every time. That was a really fun mini game during charting. There was so many awesome moments in sailing that were not directly because of sailing, but because of just the MMO aspect of it, because everyone was together, everyone's doing shit. Like, Andre, my duo, was role-playing at sea at the Krakens when he was doing the safe spot. Every time someone would pull up to the mermaid, he would talk like a pirate and warn them about the Krakens and shit. There was just, like, everything was very thematic. I feel like everyone got into a zone with sailing. I feel like everyone was kind of on the same page that it was new and fun and unexplored, and it really did feel like a video game. And there's a lot of points in RuneScape where like the way people talk about it, the way people act, and the way people play it, I'm like, we know this is like a video game that we play for fun, right? Like, you don't have to do a lot of these things. Like, you can like choose to like, people seem like they put themselves through such torture, or they describe it that way when talking about this game sometimes. And like, when you just see people out there having fun, it's awesome. And now we did get at the other end of that. We did get people that, like, no matter what JAGEX did with the sailing, every update, like, The J mods were getting dragged over the coals. Like, it was bad. Every single patch that came out, people were losing their minds, freaking out. Like, it really showed that it's hard. It's hard for them to win in the public eye, even though like so many people were loving sailing and having a great time. The minor changes and shifts and like things that they reverted instantly got them so much shit, and people lost their collective minds. And it's funny to see, but it also like sucks to see because we have an insanely good JMod team. They are cracked. They're awesome. They're very communicative. It feels like they want to make good updates for the game. Like it feels that way. People will accuse them of not and like catering to certain people, but it's like no, we generally get a good spread of early, mid, late game. Especially recently, we've been getting pumped with some late game stuff, and it's been a lot of fun. There is also a ton of early and mid game. Either way, I think the JMods are doing a great job, and I think the overall reaction to sailing was overwhelmingly positive, but we did have a few, like, 2 to 3 day moments where it felt like just everyone hated all the JMods, and those moments weren't fun, and I was making fun of the people who were losing their fucking minds over, like, salvaging getting slightly changed or things like that, but either way, I think overall people have been mostly happy as well, which is nice to see. But let's compartmentalize a little bit and talk about some of the individual parts of sailing that I enjoyed or didn't enjoy. There are no combat tasks, first of all. Let's go to collection logs. So the sailing miscellaneous was something that I wanted to complete fully before we got 99 sailing, so I did a ton of the combat bounty tasks to get all of this shit done. Don't mind the 4 cannon barrels we got from the opulent salvage. They did make that thing too common. I think they should nerf the drop rate of the cannon barrel. But we did do all of the boat combat, and I think it really sucked. Like, I'm gonna be honest, it sucked. There was no two ways about it. There was no, like, it didn't feel good. No part of boat combat felt good. It didn't feel engaging in a good way, like doing the boat wiggles or like red Xing on, or like clicking multiple enemies so that both of your cannons are firing and shit like that. Like, it felt like an insane amount of micromanaging that resulted in no DPS at all. Like, it felt like I'm doing so much work to just hit like zeros and then the occasional 12, which was not great. The Vampire Krakens, if you saw that video, I did entirely with just the 10-tile safe spot, so we didn't use the cannons at all. Just because, like, I only have this much boat food from the salvaging, from doing my post, like, green log salvaging that got me all this. So, like, I didn't have a lot of boat food, and, like, the DPS was just awful, so I couldn't even justify using the boat combat for, like, the strongest of the creatures that you can fight. So I think overall, that I'm very much looking forward to the overhaul or the major update that they talked about doing, because they've acknowledged that boat combat just sucks shit. There's, like, if you're a fan of it, like, it's probably just because the idea of it is fun, and it's very piratey, and it's very cool, and, like, getting the items is cool, but just, like, the overall doing it just sucks, and they know it sucks, and it feels almost like this was a placeholder, and they just didn't get enough time to fix it and make the real system. Like, it feels like this is a very, like, early development stage of boat combat, and just because of the time frame of the sailing release, I think they just got screwed out of being able to make a half-decent combat system. That's my theory, my tinfoil hat, but either way, they said they're gonna fix it, so early 2026, surely we get some big boat combat overhaul. I enjoyed doing it because it was a lot of passive XP, the items were fun to get, the clogs were cool, it gives you cool stuff, like the Bottled Storm is really sick, being able to teleport around to different islands for, like, non-sailing related things, like for Slayer tasks, for clues, it's really sick. But getting it was just awful. Getting it just fucking sucked. So I'm looking forward to the change so I can get more bottled storms. Hopefully cannons aren't terrible in terms of damage. But for now, I will not be touching more of that now that we've greenlogged, because it just is not complete. The charting, I already talked about it a little bit, but it was a ton of fun, really enjoyable. I hope they don't make it like a repeatable thing. I know they talked about like a repeatable charting style activity. I think the fun and the beauty of charting is that it is kind of like not like an achievement diary, but like an achievement diary in the sense that you complete a bunch of tasks, then you get a big chunk of XP. That's a satisfying gameplay loop. You only do it once, so it gets to be a big chunk of XP. That's why it's satisfying. So I think adding more charting to different areas and like when they add the new season stuff, hell yeah, but I don't know about repeatable charting, because I think that just kind of takes away the magic of it or the fun of it. And then especially too with like the one-time answer riddles and stuff and the finding the locations. I don't know about that. Also, some of the charts suck. Like, they're not fun to do. That duck is a motherfucker. That guy pisses me off. Like, some of them aren't fun, but it's fun because, like, you tick them all off and then you get the big chunk of XP. So, like, that aspect of it is fun. But, like, those ducks, ooh. And the meaties, some of those meaties piss me off. Either way, I think they shouldn't make it repeatable, but it is really fun. I'm looking forward to more charting. The port tasks, again, I didn't really touch. Bounty tasks were fun to do the clogging through bounty tasks. And then salvaging. Salvaging is awesome. It's pretty broken. That's how I got most of my 99 when I wasn't gliding. It's just because I had a lot of videos to edit, thumbnails to make, shit like that. So it was just a great multitask. I got so much passive XP just by like doing other things for YouTube or Twitch related. So that was really sweet. The clogs, I don't think are too rare. I think they're, like, useless enough for them to be rare chase items. A rune cannon works just fine. A dragon cannon's wholly unnecessary, so, like, I don't think it's, like, too rare or too common or whatever. That like, they could make it a 1 in 15k or something. I don't think it would change much, but I'm not too bothered by that or, like, the Salvor's Paint or anything. But I think salvaging is pretty awesome. I think they nailed it as, like, a gathering skill. And then last is the trials. Trials are fun. I enjoyed them a lot. I think it just like feels hard to justify Gwyneth gliding when it's so much effort for only like double what salvaging is, when salvaging is just... But we were supposed to get another trial that would probably be like 300k XP per hour, if not more. So I think if we had a cooler trial, those would be so much fun to just get crazy XP rates and just be ripping around on your skiff. I really enjoyed it. It was just like hard to justify the effort kind of thing. But other than that, I think overall, they pretty much nailed it. We're getting pretty close to 99. We are on World 404, boys, at the Unca. So if you want to pull up just before this happens, I'm not going to slow down or speed up, but it's happening soon. Thanks for pulling up, Kieran. But overall, I really like sailing. I had a lot of fun. I think sailing part 2 should make it very interesting. I think they said when it comes to tying sailing into the rest of the game, they didn't want to do any of that with sailing part 1 because it would be really overwhelming. A lot of people kind of had the reaction that sailing kind of feels like an island. It feels like a league. It feels very self-contained. But they did that by choice. They did that because it would be too much. Like, if they added sailing to the game, we all had to go out at sea and train sailing, but there was also like 20 things on main game that you needed 40, 50, 70, 90 sailing to access. I think that would piss a lot of people off, and that would make a lot of people feel like really obligated to go train sailing right away, right now, whereas that's not necessarily the case currently. So I think when sailing part 2 comes along, a lot of the people that were putting sailing off or trained to do a certain level and then stopped will have more incentive to do more of it, and it'll be more of a thing. But until then, I think there is a shit ton to do within sailing to occupy your time on the way to 99. The bounty tasks are a ton of passive XP if you go for some of those items. I think I got probably 3 mil XP just from crystal extracting and doing the bounties. So, like, there's a ton to do. You should go do it. Sailing is awesome. Shout out to the JMod team for actually doing a killer update. They usually do. I'm usually a big fan of what they add to the game. I don't vote in most polls. Other than sailing, I voted no to sailing. I was a big naysayer to sailing. That was one of the few polls I voted in, and I said no. But I usually trust what they add to the game, and I enjoy it most of the time. But this time, I enjoyed it a lot. We did it. We're done our sailing. Now I can leave the sea for the foreseeable future, I think. And then when they add sailing part 2, we do more. When I get a clue that sends me to an island, I regretfully sail to it. I don't know if I'll be attaching these dragon cannon barrels anytime soon, or we'll just leave them in the bank to collect dust, who knows. But either way, if you've been enjoying sailing, hell yeah. If you haven't been, I'm sorry. You should try more of it. I promise you'll find something that you find fun and find enjoyable. But thank you for watching, boys. I appreciate y'all. If you want to see anything live, we're live every day. Twitch.tv/2factorrs. And let me know down below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Is it just meh? How do we feel about sailing? Are you done with sailing? Are you 99? Where did we stop? I'm 99. I'm done with sailing now. Done with sailing. There's so many clogs to get, man. There's so many clogs. Oh, man. We are never going to be done. Drink some water. Touch some grass. Kiss a homie. You can forget the first 2 things. Fuck you. Bye.